That is the only true mango bourbon that I have ever heard of, and I don't think you're ever going to find another, and we're never making another one.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Bourbon Table. My name is Derek. This is a special episode because it's the first time that I've gone to an actual distillery. I went down there with my brother Jason, my sister-in-law Suzanne, and my girlfriend Laura, and we actually just went down there, to have a good time on the weekend. And while we were there, I asked it was actually their COO, Mark Green Klein, if I could record. And he said sure. So you're going to see that now. You're going to see all kinds of stuff from, adult milkshakes to how bourbon is made, and amazing other things. You're going to see where this distillery, Independent Spirits, is only one of about a handful of distillers in the country that makes this Aquafit. It's a Scandinavian type of a beverage. They also are the only distillery known to anybody that has made a mango bourbon. It's actually a mango whiskey, but a mango bourbon. If you know of anyone else that's made a mango bourbon, please put a comment down below and let me know, because I don't think it's out there. That's a cool story. Mark owns Independent Spirits with his brother and his mother, and they set out to make alcohol the old-fashioned way. They wanted to use local ingredients and hard work to make the best spirits they could make. And I think they've hit the mark. At least the ones that I've tasted are really, really good. You'll see that in the video. Also about midway, I'm going to do a tasting of their bourbon, which is their #1 beverage. And I think you can taste the Jersey soil in these beverages. Jersey tomatoes, Jersey corn are world famous for being a notch above. And I think they're just taking advantage of that. So take a look at this. I'll see you at the end.
This is Independent Spirits Distillery. We are the only Jersey fresh distillery in existence. We make all of our products, all from local grain, all in-house. We're the only true grain-to-glass distillery that does that in the state of New Jersey. We've got 11 products out right now. We're working on 12 or 13. Our just shy of 6-year-old bourbon, espresso liqueur, splash of cream, and a barrel-aged maple syrup. It's an adult milkshake. It's hard to go wrong. John Daly's really nice. Homemade sun tea, homemade lemonade, and our homemade, I like it with the moonshine. Can't go wrong with anything with the espresso, anything with the limoncello. The old fashioned, I make the cherries from scratch too. Bourbon soaked cherries that I cook in cinnamon, cardamom, vanilla, and nutmeg, and then soak them in bourbon for like a month before serving.
So what was the one that was the adult milkshake?
The whiskey cappuccino. I also have a few seasonal specials right now for the fall. We do a pumpkin pie martini, hot cider, and moonshine. The Great Pumpkin is basically a pumpkin pie white Russian. Our bourbon and our rye are both made with the same 3 grains: corn, wheat, and rye. All grown locally in Shiloh, New Jersey, Rabbit Hill Farms. They're great. Recommend with anybody. Okay. So for the bourbon, that's our currently 5-year, 10-month-old bourbon. And that's 6% corn, 20 wheat, 20 rye. For the rye whiskey, that's 5.5 years old, and that one is 60 rye, 20 wheat, 20 corn. And they're all aged in American white oak. They're in the back.
It's delicious. L'chaim. This is how I prefer to drink my bourbon. I know I'm not a purist when it comes to bourbon, but I would have never considered bourbon before in a drink, and this is delicious.
This is an old-fashioned with a homemade cherry and 1 large ice cube, which is a nice touch.
Yep.
Is that the chocolate?
And it's delicious.
All right, we're going to do the bourbon first. 6 years, made, grains in New Jersey, distilled in New Jersey. Boy, I get some sweetness right away. I don't know, some kind of a dark fruit. Wow, that's nice. Certainly taste the oak. I taste.
Oh, of course. Oh. It tastes like about 4 more.
Man, that's nice. Some vanilla, a little bit of caramel. I wanted to jump in here because I wanted to give you some more tasting notes on the bourbon. I'm not going to go through everything here. I can tell you it's all good. You saw a lot of it in the video. but I want to do some taste, give you some more tasting notes on the bourbon, because that's their number one seller, and it's kind of what this channel is about. So let's do that. This is the first pour out of their bourbon. It's a 90 proof. I let it sit for maybe 10 minutes. The grains are grown in New Jersey, which gives it a uniqueness. I'll talk about that in a second. So two cool things about the nose on this. Three cool things. It's a 90 proof, so it's not going to burn your nostrils. And it's got a really nice oak smell. It's like the right level. It's not too much, but it's like right there. The other thing is, and it's a little bit less now than when I first opened it, and this is going to sound weird, but it smells like brand new tires. In a good way. That's a smell that I may be weird, but I like that. And first cracking the bottle, I guess it's a mixture of that ethanol and everything else that's going on. It really has that brand new tire smell. Man, the nose here is evolving. Wait a minute. Oh, man. It is so clean. Mark in the video talks about how he really loves to distill vodka. That's one of his passions. And he says it's super clean. And man, I'm getting that on the nose. All right, let's taste it. Medium body. Starts off with just a hint, just a hint of caramel, but it's, again, the taste matches the nose, so it's oaky. For me, perfect. Like, perfect amount of oak. Has a little bit of nuttiness. Little bit of a nuttiness, and then a little sweetness on the back end as well. This is a really nice glass, a really nice pour. To me, this is great, neat. I haven't tried it on ice, but I think it would be good on ice. It's got that, that nice oak that mixes well with a block of ice, a little bit of melted ice in there. And it's a type of thing that you can sip a glass or two at 90 proof. But it really gets the essence of bourbon. And the other thing about it is, it has that taste of like a really clean alcohol. And I don't know if that's part of the way that they distill, or if that's part of the New Jersey soil. So if you're not familiar, New Jersey is famous for their soil. They have world famous Jersey tomatoes, Jersey corn. I remember as a kid, when the season would hit, the spring and the summer would hit, my dad couldn't wait to get real Jersey corn and Jersey tomatoes. He was born and raised in Philadelphia, and we moved into New Jersey, and they're just the best. New Jersey has the best tomatoes. New Jersey has the best corn. I may upset some people, may offend some people. Not what I wanted to do, obviously, but the soil in New Jersey is unique in that regard. It doesn't work out for all vegetables. So I don't know if that's part of what's going on here, or if it's just the process that Mark and his family is going through. But this is a really nice glass. All right, I'm going to send you back to the video.
I'll let you guess on the rye what the proof is there.
All right. Ryes can be tricky
They are.
because of this place.
Again, same three grains, corn, wheat, and rye in both of them.
This has a nice sweet smell on this.
People that come in here most of the time go straight for the bourbon, and that's our number one seller. But the rye whiskey, folks who are rye guys, they come in, they get bottles of rye. Well, let's just ask, higher or lower than the bourbon?
It feels lower.
Most folks assume that it's higher because
Yes.
of the heat.
Yep.
And that little bit of pepper you get from the rye
Yes.
grain. And I am blown away every time we make this and every time I sample it, because that little difference in just the percentage grain in the mash changes the whole thing. It's that beautiful blend of art and science.
Yes.
Because science is all about delicate attention to detail, and so is art. But one is more control and one is more finesse. And this is definitely a melding of the two.
Blackberry liqueur.
Still.
Yes. There's nothing on it.
Did you build something on it now?
No, but we have
That is like a
and we have
blackberry gummy bear.
Just popping in here, had a ton of new subscribers off my last video. Thank you so much for jumping in. If you're not subscribed, think about it. Get in there. Don't miss the next one. Also, thumbs up, leave some comments. Back to the video.
This is a chocolate infused bourbon.
300 tires or something? Was it 300? Something like that.
I have the lists.
Yeah. They had to have been let, they had to.
This
had
is
to have
like
let
a-
somebody else
Either
to, because nobody.
this is like a super duper chocolate, milk chocolate, or melted chocolate. Just enough alcohol to give it a really nice bitterness at the end,
It's not that.
which really
it's
adds
like-
to the chocolate,
Bar inside.
the chocolateness of it. Espresso liqueur.
Those guys got some folks go about things differently.
I mean, it smells like espresso. This is like a
A homemade shake.
this is like a Rocher's
I wanted to
espresso
do it. I wanted to
coffee.
say that for a long time. So I don't-
piece of
I don't
candy.
want to-
All right, now I'm going to go for the last one. I have no idea what this is. We're going to get the story in a
I
second.
think,
So this is
I
only
don't think it's a.
Only here.
here
I've never heard
in,
of anybody else making what this is.
in Woolwich, New Jersey.
Woolwich.
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 WW.
Independent
Easy for you.
Spirits.
You've only had 2 drinks. I've had. Don't know what this is, but if you want one, you got to come here.
You'll never find it again.
Ooh, that's got a nice little mintiness to it on the smell. What is that? Like a little
Even
anise?
once I tell you the full story, do you
It'll all make sense in the end.
I don't know if it makes sense in the end, but it's tasty. So
Okay, good. Here we go.
again, art and science. We're not always here to make sense. We're here to make tasty stuff.
Yeah, I can't. That is unique. I can't place that.
Yeah. That is a wild story in a glass.
I mean, you got to get it on camera.
You got this?
It all
yeah.
starts actually with a similar but unrelated thing. Our apple pie moonshine. When we first, no, it's not apple. Not a drop.
There's not a drop apple?
Nothing in
Okay.
here is apple. So this is just apple and corn, cinnamon too. So we made this our first fall. This is a fall special for us. We make it by buying local apples from Mood's Farms. We roast them in cinnamon, then soak them in our high-proof all-corn moonshine. Once it takes on the color and flavor we want, it's done. And it was going over like gangbusters. Our first fall, we're having people out, we're having events, people are talking to us about what they want to see next. They're excited. This was right before COVID. We were having a good time and folks were recommending different things. So I've got people saying, oh, you gotta do blueberry, you gotta do peaches, you gotta do pawpaws, you gotta do maypops, all sorts of weird stuff. We got beach plums. And my response to every single one of them was, great, you know a farmer that's local that deals with this, I'll talk to him. We want to keep it local, we want to work with local people. Local produce, local farmers, that's the name of the game. All our grain is from just a couple miles away. I don't want to import peaches from Georgia or anything from far off. We want to keep it close. And I'm saying this to everybody, and somebody says, hey, you ever work with mangoes? And I go, no, I've never milked mangoes, but they don't grow too well in Jersey. If you know anybody who got them though, send them my way, I'll talk to them. And that was a mistake. Because it turns out that the mango magnate for Northeastern America, I believe it goes from like Ohio to Maine and then down to the Carolinas. If you got mango anywhere in that range, he's dealt with them. He lives right through those trees.
Oh.
So he showed up and dropped off 2 truckloads of mangoes and just said, figure it out, make it something good. And so my mom, my siblings, my grandparents, we all spent a couple weeks hand shucking mangoes. We made a mango mash. 1,000 pounds is what we used to make one mash. So we got 1,000 pounds of mango flesh we processed by hand. We fermented it, and distilled it. We wound up with a clear spirit that tasted and smelled like tropical fire. And we were just starting out. We didn't really know what we were up to.
Tropical fire.
It
Okay.
was like a mango rum, but didn't taste like mango. Not a damn thing like mango. We started playing around, seeing, all right, how do you make these things? We just made the apple pie moonshine by soaking apples and cinnamon in moonshine. All right, that's how we'll make it. We've got the mango base. We'll add mango to it. So we shuck another truckload of mangoes and we toss them in there. And it turns highlighter yellow. It mellows it a little bit, adds a little tiny bit of sweetness, but it still tastes nothing like mango. And we're kind of stuck. What do you do with something that isn't calming down or mellowing out? We stuck it in a bourbon barrel, and it spent the last now 4.5 years in a barrel, and that's what you just tried. So that is the only true mango bourbon that I have ever heard of, and I don't think you're ever going to find another, and we're never making another one. That is a heck of a story, and I dare you to find it. People are spending a lot of money. I have a background in the chemistry. I understand how the process works. You can make an artificially aged spirit and add all the different chemical compounds that you would be able to pick up on a mass spectrometer and all of that. You're still not going to be able to do that softening that aging does. That angel share can't be reproduced right now. And I really don't think it's worth reproducing. I think that the best way to do something sometimes isn't to do it new. Just do it the old way that we know works. And doing it for a couple hundred years now, whiskey's better. Now this is our Stilton. This is a Mueller Stilton. It's a column still, 8 plate, as you can see with the 8 glowing sections. The company that made this has been making brewing and distilling equipment for about 400 years now.
And how often do you distill?
It varies on season, what we need to produce, and how things are going. We need to do a gin soon, so we'll be doing one of those. We do the fall moonshine coming up as well. And I want to start another batch of the chocolate because that takes a few years to get right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you manage that far out? Like, you have to predict like years in advance.
Yeah, Google Sheets isn't exactly. But, yeah, we keep notes and we
Yeah.
just try to keep it on the calendar and
Yeah.
keep an eye.
Yeah.
Good note taking and a good team is really important.
Yeah.
And for us, the team is family. So my mother and brother, that's the whole bit.
What's a still like that cost?
This bad boy,
Yeah.
This one was just shy of 200K.
Wow.
And we are not a wealthy family. This is all
Yeah.
banknotes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're paying all our bills.
Wow.
And somehow making it work.
Is that copper?
But this is copper and stainless. Yeah. This is a 60-gallon.
Okay.
So we fill the pot, and it all really starts in this tank here. This
Okay.
is the mash tank.
Right.
So they're both steam jacketed. We have a steam boiler in the back where we start all of the energy basically with everything. And this is where the grain goes first. We get 1,000 pounds of grain. We have our mash room behind this. We can mill everything on site. We get our grain in that's already dried. Either it's pre-milled or we mill it. It goes in there, and that gets mixed with the water in order to make the volume that we're looking for. After it's come to the right temperature, it starts to break down the starches and everything. We allow it to cool a little bit to add the yeast, and that's then going to ferment. Normally about 1 week for each fermentation. A little slower in the winter, a little hotter, faster in the summer, and mine are very things where we're dealing with living organisms. It's going to change slightly.
Right.
But yeah, we can do multiple batches at the same time. That's where those things come in handy. We pump into them if we have to, but typically we try to maintain just one mash at a time so we can babysit it properly.
Okay.
And then we pump slowly, batch by batch, into here, distill it, and collect the distillate. Every distillation has 3 main stages. There's the head, the heart, and the tail. The head is when you're going from room temperature up to that magical 80 degrees centigrade, the boiling point of alcohol. So everything that cooks off of that mash from room temperature on is going to be the really small organic molecules, the toxic stuff, the head. Those are the things that would kill you back in the moonshiner days, or make your eyes fall out, your kidneys drop, all sorts of nasty stuff. We use that to sterilize the floor, kill weeds in the garden, we throw it away. The heads are the first thing that come off, and we normally get about 1 liter per mash,
Oh, okay.
per batch, so not for the whole mash. Per round of distillation, we get about 1 liter. Gets collected in that bucket, and it's the first stuff that comes off. We put a float gauge in once it starts to flow with the spirit, and as that slowly starts to drop in there, that means the specific gravity or the weight of the spirit is going to change, so the gauge drops down, the proof is raising up. So that tells us that there's more alcohol present and less of the chemicals that we don't want. You start to run your fingers through the flow, you can smell then, maybe dab to your bottom lip, you can feel that change from a chemical burn and kind of bite that you get from nasty chemical into a cleaner burn of a pure ethanol. And that's the heart.
Yes.
Once we taste that, you flip it over, there's a switch that says heart on the board there, and that changes it from going into the bucket to going into that can right there. And that's the heart, that should be the majority of everything. We collect that, and that's what goes in the bottle, that's what you drink. I'm making a whiskey, then we want to go a little bit into the tail, which is those bigger organic molecules, or a little bit of water coming through. If you're making a vodka, none of that. You want to be as clean and pure as possible. So as soon as the proof starts to drop off at all, we distill ours around 190. We go as high and cold as we possibly can for our vodka. Makes a super clean vodka, and then we distill it 3 times. Vodka is actually one of my favorite things we make here. It's hard to compete in the vodka world, but we make a really good vodka. Well, if we're making any of the bourbon or the whiskey, we put it in the barrel and we patiently wait until it gets all the way through college.
Right.
Yeah. Not a moment sooner. We're currently serving, as I said, the bourbon is 5 years and 10 months, and the rye is 5.5 years old. We're holding a couple barrels off till we get to that 8 to 10 marker, and yeah, we're probably going to start splitting our bourbon into our barrel select and our standard bourbon. Single cask origin, handcrafted, farm to table, grain to glass, all those spicy terms that people are looking
Right.
for. If you put bad alcohol into a good barrel and wait 20 years, you might get something that's okay coming out of it. Chances are it's still going to be bad alcohol though. You put good, clean stuff, you know where it came from, you know how it's made, you know what's going on, into even a mediocre barrel, or just you have good stuff to start off with, you're going to get pretty good alcohol. And that's how we look at it. We're trying to control every stage of it and just aim for high quality.
Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you like this distillery type tour. If so, we'll do more of them. Also, stay tuned. Next video will be another bourbon hunt shelf tour of a liquor store in New Jersey. In fact, one that Bruzel himself just visited. We'll see you then. Ready?
Kill weeds, yes. Sanitize,
Kill weeds,
no.
okay.
Yeah,
Kill weeds, not people.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't kill people. Yeah. Yes, don't kill people. I'm not going to be recorded saying anything about murder.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
The more you know.